at that gorgeous WB intro from Forgotten Time, the early 2000s, when Warner Brothers Animation was still making stuff that was worthy. Well, I don't know. That's a whole diatribe for another day. And it's Christmas, for the love of Christmas. We're watching Bah Humduck, and I am joined. It's not just me, Docs and Docettes. I'm joined. If you're gonna watch something for Christmas, you should watch it with friends, family, and fans. And we're all big fans, including, but certainly not limited to, Sander Schwartz as the man with the largest credit. Credit. But yes,
beautiful font.
Yeah, but the friends in question. That's not a beautiful font right there. That's Comic Sans.
Everyone hates on Comic Sans. I don't know why.
It's
I think it's a nice font, but I get, okay, maybe it's not the thing you put on your resume, but it's a nice looking font nonetheless. It's easy to read.
Ladies and gentlemen, that voice right there is none other than Alexandra Bender, aka Amazon Kane. You guys have we've done a few things before together, and hopefully many more. And of course, you know him, you love him, Golden Age Cartoons alum, the one, the only, Matt Hunter.
Howdy.
But you, Matt, as I was saying, you are this thing's resident cheerleader. You love it, unreserved. Tell us why.
Well, I wouldn't say love, but I did enjoy it when I first saw it, and I think it's got a good message behind it, and it's a fun retelling of A Christmas Carol. It's not one that I watch every year or that I think is a classic or anything by any means, but I think it's pretty decent. I think the voice works good. I think the animation's good. The music's good. There are things we can pick on, and we will. Oh, we will. But I do like it, though.
Yeah.
So
I should say I don't dislike it, and I have to say there's nostalgia has its place, and while, like you mentioned, watching it every year, while I do watch Bugs Bunny's Looney Christmas Tales every year, and I do also acknowledge this is better than that. In terms of quality, it's way better than that. The only reason I'm watching it is because it was on TV when I was 5, and I was home with my family, and I was a kid, and my happiness was looked after, and all that crap. But
same here. I mean, who can forget Taz eating the Christmas tree? Come on,
that's funny. I'll argue that to my dying breath. That actually is funny. But yeah, there's
when they won't share the Christmas ham, eat the tree.
Yeah.
And you didn't see this kind of thing anymore.
I gotta say though, one of the things that I don't like about this is at play here. I don't like Gossamer's redesign here. What's going on with those eyebrows?
He's actually a character I'm not terribly familiar with.
See, the thing about Gossamer, Alexandra, is he's supposed to be gigantic, menacing. He's not just supposed to be tall and kind of heavy set. He's supposed to be domineering. And also, just for the record, just again, I always do gripe about the colors on these things. The color is otherwise really good in this, but it's the same. It's Warner Brothers marketing again, Matt, and they're just Gossamer is ginger.
He's orange
to deep
He's
orange.
Supposed to be orange.
Same with Yosemite Sam's beard, but for some reason, around in the '80s, early '90s, they started coloring out both of those red.
Interesting, because I think the color work is really nice in this.
It is, I agree. Oh, this gag is funny. I really love this gag. Watch this.
Hey, if it's violent, honestly, I'm going to love it.
Yep.
He definitely has some HR complaints against him.
Oh, yeah. Workplace harassment.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a lover, and he's always on ecstasy.
That's got to be it.
He sells Molly. He puts Molly into the perfume.
But he's clearly run out of his stash. That's why he has to work this crappy job at Christmas.
Is her name Penelope, Matthew?
Penelope, so, yeah. And here's
when did they name her Penelope?
She's called that in one cartoon, and so I guess they just decided to say, okay, her name's Penelope. I think it was like the Warner Brothers stores in the 90s.
Are you sure about that?
They were looking to make merchandise for her, and they said, okay, it's Penelope. I believe it's in The Cat's Ba, that cartoon where he's in Morocco.
Right.
And the cat's owner, loses track of her, but she says, come on now, Penelope, don't be a naughty kitty.
The name Marvin Martian, whoever this animator is, by the way, Matt, do you know who that is?
No, I don't, but I love that bit where he's chewing on a candy cane like it's a carrot. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. This animator shows up a couple times right here. I love this animator, but I don't know who it is. But it's one of the few times where a personal style comes through, and I'll point it out
really good
as we go. Yeah, I wonder if it's not like Dan Haskett or somebody doing like last minute work or something. But this has got to be it. But Marvin Martian, like I was saying before, was he was never named in the cartoons. They named him in marketing because Chuck Jones used to refer to him as Antwerp because he was a little twerp and he had the body of an ant.
It's amazing. I mean, the animation in the scene's good too, but the voice work it's just one guy.
Yeah.
Without any kind of, speeding or anything like that. And we can quiet down when Sylvester shows up so we can listen to it.
Let's do that now, yeah.
Yikes! Do my eyes deceive me, or am I being visited by
Sylvester the Cat, alias Sylvester the Investor?
unscrupulous CEO of the super successful Cat's Meow Superstores? You were my idol!
And it's also because these are such timeless characters with such a devoted fan base, it's also such a daunting task at doing a good impression of the original voice, but also bringing something new to it.
That's something that this fan base does not appreciate enough as it should, honest to God.
It's great to appreciate the good stuff still.
Have you ever seen, Alexandra, I mentioned earlier the other Christmas special, the Looney Tunes one. It's Bugs Bunny's Looney Christmas Tales. Have you seen that one?
Does not ring a bell, I don't think so.
Interesting to note, because you were saying about the way the characters are cast, in that one, Porky is also the Cratchit character.
Okay.
So yeah, they do kind of just certain characters do kind of just lend themselves to certain roles.
And I just love Porky and Daffy as a team up. I think they're great.
Yeah.
The same voice actor actually has been doing Porky Pig for a long time as Bob Bergen.
Good
Yeah.
guy. Real good
and
guy.
I love his Porky. It's perfect.
What's up, folks? You're listening to Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes critic. Although everyone's a critic.
He has a really nice commissioned wooden cane with Porky on it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a commissioned a wooden cane, a staff, a walking stick.
Oh, wow.
Whatever the right word is, it's beautifully carved with Porky on it. He usually brings it to public events, at least the ones I've seen.
Oh, cool.
Bob has so many good stories about June Foray, who, by the way, is also in this, voicing Granny.
Yeah, classic.
Part of the message of this special that I like is that if you've ever worked retail during the holidays, and I have, you can relate to this. Being overworked and tired and all of that. It's hell. It's absolute hell.
And clearly things have not changed from whenever the original story was published.
2000.
No.
I remember thinking, I thought, oh crap, this is always going to be relevant. That is so sad.
I think this
Yeah.
is... I really think because this is 2003, so my guess is that they got the money from Warner's to do this because of Back in Action.
Yeah, it might have been. This was a couple of years after Back in Action, but of course, stuff is in production in animation for a long time.
What was it?
Here's that animator.
Yep, I was just going to say this.
This is really nice.
This animator, this is the same animator that I was talking about before.
I will admit, I can't pick up on some of the nuances, at least for Looney Tunes, the way you guys can, but the line work here is really nice, especially on Bugs.
Yeah.
I mean, every choice here is, you can tell that, like, the animator went through, the dialogue and, like, is responding in every kind of like physical way. They probably acted it out. This is
oh, Birdie. Hatchet.
And and as much as I'm not really a fan of Billy West's Bugs, he does a pretty good job in this one.
I have a weird theory about Billy West's Bugs, and I told you about this on the phone, Matt, and I'll bring you up to speed, Alexandra. So,
please,
you're familiar with Space Jam, I'm sure, on some level.
I know of it. Yeah, I've never seen it.
I'm doing a commentary by the way of it on Saturday. I'm debating whether or not I kill myself on Friday, but so yeah.
So you'll just come back as a little winged angel.
Yeah, just like what Granny did.
Assuming you end up there, of course.
Voiced by June Foray.
But what was I saying?
You're talking about Billy West.
Yeah, Billy West. Yeah. So the first time he ever voiced Bugs, as far as the general public is concerned, wow, that animation's great. Was Space Jam, and he's done it a few other times. This being one of those other times. And Matt's opinion is a lot of people's opinions in the fandom about it. It's like, there's just something not right about it. And my theory is Billy West can do Bugs well if Billy West is the person who is directing him. Because if you listen to, you can find them, they're tapes of a now defunct but awesome radio station in Boston called WBCN, which is where he started. There are a number of sketches that he did there were Looney Tunes sketches where he did, all the voices and all the characters, and his Bugs is perfect on those. And he worked alone and was his own editor and everything. And it sounds better than even some of Joe Alasky's great performances, but it seems like any time someone else directs him to do Bugs, it doesn't sound right. And I don't know what it is, but I think...
I will admit, I actually felt that in this short. I thought, I just thought the voice was a little off in this short of the Bugs.
Now, the other thing...
But all talented people, by the way. But
for sure.
Who does it now, by the way?
The great Eric Bauza, my good buddy.
Oh, okay.
So you had an issue, Matthew, about this scene, or not just this scene, but it's when we kind of get to this point where you made a really interesting point about this character here.
Kind of a dark thing, but clearly this little pig, Porky's daughter, looks like Petunia, and he mentions that Mother is gone. Mother passed away. So what happened to Petunia?
Yeah,
is Petunia a Christmas ham in somebody's house now?
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
I love the glee that Alexandra had. Yes, she's fucking dead. Fuck her. You were really excited.
Screw Petunia.
I will tell you.
He clearly did. That's how he has a daughter.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but I'm wondering, because this little character didn't appear in anything else after this. Her name's Priscilla
Holy
Pig.
shit, that's Alf in the background.
It is Alf.
Did you see that? I know it's supposed to be a pig, but it looked like Alf. It looks like Alf.
Funny.
It does.
It is. Hey, someone's a fanboy behind the scenes, or fangirl. Or fan person, I guess. That's the neutral term. Fan person.
I identify.
I don't know. Do Porky and Priscilla have a cat? Have they seen it lately?
Wait, do they?
I don't know. But if Alf's around, they probably won't see him again.
I actually never saw Alf. That joke went over my head.
Alf ate the cat.
Alf was an alien that liked to eat cats.
So he likes to eat pussy, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to have to break you up. Listen, Alexandra, do I have to separate you?
No one made that joke behind the scenes.
This whole thing is obviously based on Christmas Carol, the Dickens thing. And we haven't seen it just yet, but we're about to get to the scene where, oh my God, that animation's great too. Holy shit.
Yeah.
The animation in this is beautiful and fantastic. I will say this is a special, when I watched it the first time, the emotional moments were not hitting me. I felt...
That's what I'm about to say. Yes. That's what I want to say. Please say more of that.
Well, I think because there are so many versions of A Christmas Carol, I can't quite explain it, but the emotional moments just even felt even manipulative. It felt very
Yes.
hollow. They just were not hitting me.
That's what bugs me about this. Bugs, no pun intended. But
Yeah.
that's what bothers me about this.
Own that pun.
Yes. Hey, it's all. Look, these cartoons. Most of the titles, by the way, are puns. So if you have a problem with a pun, get out of here now. But yeah, that's what. It's the pathos, Alexandra, that bugs me.
Yeah.
It's one of the. It is the, if not one of the most. What's the word? Pathosic? I don't know. One of the most pathos-heavy stories ever. Like, if you're not going to do this kind of scene at all, that's fine because it's all gags and Looney Tunes are a joke a minute. But if you're not going to do it, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. And the fact that Taz and them are crying here, it's not even played for laughs, but it doesn't work.
I agree. I think part of it, and I noticed it early in the first scene with the orphanage, the first flashback, because they're telling you what the emotions are. They don't experience it. He's like, "Oh, you're an orphan, and you had to learn to fight for yourself, and that's why you're so greedy."
See?
It's very exposition heavy. You don't feel it because they're telling you, not showing you, and that was the problem I had. And to the point where when they try to do something a little more heavy, it felt manipulative.
Right.
Now you're earning your keep, Alexandra. Kudos. That's exactly how I fucking feel.
Oh, just a personal thing. I kind of wish they did more with Elmer Fudd because he's my favorite villain.
Oh, really?
Bummed to see he was just more the tired employee. I thought, oh, maybe he could be the stuck-up manager or something that the Karen speaks to. I mean, this is pre-Karen, but still, I would have liked to see more of him.
Yeah.
I am the supervisor, Karen.
I don't know what the right thing to do is in this case.
There's Claude Cat.
Yeah, again, Claude Cat, you don't know what to do with him. You just stick him in the background.
Yeah. They find ways around it. I don't mind that very much about
Can
the
I
new
just
ones.
say real quick my point about pathos again?
Yeah.
Wacko's Wish. I watched that 2 years ago, okay? And it's same kind of thing. It's supposed to be, nutty cartoons, gag driven. But the pathos in that fucking worked. I was tearing up. I had a lump in my throat when Dot was, and even then, I know that on some level, it's always a gag. It's always for the performance, but the performance of getting you to cry was genuine. It worked. So you can do something like this and get the pathos right, but they just didn't. They didn't with this.
What would you say is it the directing? Is it the animation? A combination? How would you have gotten the pathos? Because out of that,
I personally, I don't think I would have done the pathos.
Me
I would
neither.
have just
Me
kind of
neither.
made it funny.
oh, for me, that's what I was thinking too. It would have been worked if they went the Animaniacs route, played the whole story for laughs.
See, that's-
It even actually took a while to get to the Christmas Carol story because the whole first 10 minutes or so is filled with gags.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's the
that's
thing.
pretty good. I mean, that's funny.
The gun in Act 1 if you're not going to fire it by Act 3.
Dan Haskett. There's the credit right there.
That's
Character
probably
design,
who it was.
Dan
Was
Haskett.
Dan Haskett,
Okay.
that animator.
Well,
Ink
that's
and
like the
paint.
time,
What a
maybe
lie!
Early 2000s, even if it's
There's no way there's
it
real
does
ink
look a
and
little
paint.
CGI-ish, but I personally find that charming.
Gordon Goodwin, very, very good. Very good.
Yeah, the music in this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Really, really well done. And I think they even put out an album of it, if I'm not
Soundtrack
mistaken.
album on
Oh, yeah?
Emergent Records. Yes.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, look at
I think
you.
so.
So yeah, I definitely. What do you rate this on a scale of 1 to 7? I'm
7.
kidding.
I'd probably give it a 4. I know because it's the animation's spectacular, but it's also it doesn't do a ton. It's fun, but it doesn't do a ton of new stuff with the Christmas Carol story, and the pathos doesn't come off as sincere.
Yeah.
So it does take a little while to actually get the story going. So it's fun. I'm glad I saw it. The animation is certainly very stunning. The voice work's very good. But I think the storytelling, it's, for me, not strong enough for a rewatch.
Yeah. Now, Matt, you saw.
I would, yeah. I'm right there with you. I think probably a 5 because I really liked the animation, the voice work, the message, the whole bit. But as we were saying, I agree. The pacing, the pathos not being done right, and the cameo-itis kind of really hurt an otherwise really good special. So
Yeah, well, last rating. We got mine. I believe we got Matt's. What are your thoughts, Mr.
What
Wheel?
about you?
Oh, me, that's fine. I mean, look, I said before I'm not a big fan of it, but you know, I can certainly acknowledge the things that are done well about it. It's just, I have a feeling that this thing is like it was for me with, as I said, Bugs Bunny's Looney Christmas Tales. It's, if you grew up with it, you'll watch it all the time every year, but if you actually watch it over and over, you know, a lot, it's probably because you grew up with it. You know, I'm able to see the good things about, you know, Looney Christmas Tales as well. There aren't many, but and I would say there's definitely more good things about this than that. But I think this is something that if you really, I will say this, you know, with a little more perspective now, as a grown up, you know, even though there's a cohesive story to Humduck, and no story, no through line at all for Bugs' 24 Karat, the holiday special that we watched a few weeks ago. I mean, I think that one is going to be the one that people are going to watch more frequently. I think, and just as to that end, here we are now 3 weeks, well, 2.5, 3 weeks after that thing came out, and I have since watched it again twice, and it's great. Now, I will tell you this, it wasn't as much fun as when we all watched it together, and that's part of what the holiday is, you know, being all together and having the happy, fun time and all that stuff. But hey, you know, this is good, though.
Hey, you know what? It's the time to be happy. Christmas.
Thank God,
Kwanzaa Festivus for the rest of us.
And thank God 2020 is over.
Tis the season to be merry
And sloshed. All right, guys, that's all, folks.